welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Brody. I am joined alongside baseball analyst and my co-host, Tony Cepeda. He just cut his tie, so he's feeling fresh and ready to go for this edition of the Cubs. Even though he is a Sox fan, he's sticking with me through it. So today we are hitting on not only the Chicago Cubs, but the man that is taking the league by storm and carrying this Cubs offense right now, Patrick Wisdom. But before we begin, a quick word from our sponsor. 27 years in counting, Higher Level Camps is the longest running boys and girls AAU program in Wisconsin. HLC, Higher Level Camps, was established in 1995 by their founder and retired WNBA player, I said NBA last time, Cheryl Moore. Higher Level Camps has grown into 3 locations, the greater Fond du Lac area, Milwaukee, and Clare counties. For more information, visit www.higherlevelcamps.com and say Just Another Year Chicago sent you. We love you, Cheryl, even though you're a Packers fan. So to start things off, who is Patrick Wisdom? Patrick Wisdom is a 29-year-old first, third, and pinch hitter out of baseball player, obviously, out of St. Mary's College in California. He was drafted in the first round of the 2012, Jesus, man, we're off today. I'm so amped up about Patrick Wisdom, I can't even read these notes. 2012 MLB draft by the St. Louis Cardinals. Way to go, Cardinals. You messed that one up by getting rid of one of the hottest guys in the league right now. He did not see Major League action until 2018 with the Cardinals, which then he was traded to the Texas Rangers in 2019, was released by the Rangers, and signed a minor league deal with the Cubs in 2020. He only played 2 Major League games during COVID, which then he was sent back down to the minors, brought back up this year, and in only 14 games this year, in 36 at-bats, Patrick Wisdom has done a whole lot of stuff that a lot of guys on rosters who have been here for almost the entire season haven't even done. So, Tony, I'm going to jump into it, and it's going to sound like someone that's very similar on the South Side. Very similar story, older, rookie, kind of. I don't know. Would he be considered a rookie because he hasn't played enough games?
Yeah, Yermin actually played the guy on the South Side we're alluding to. He only played, he played a game last year. So, I mean, I'd still call it a rookie. It was like a September call-up, I imagine, late in the year. So
I think there's certain guidelines from the MLB that consider you a rookie because obviously it's a big reward to get. I don't know if Patrick Wisdom will get it, but let's break down the stats because if he were to keep this up, it would be extremely impressive for this year. So through 14 games, and 34 at-bats, Patrick Wisdom has a .389 batting average. Pretty good. Low amount of at-bats, but that's still pretty good. With 7 home runs, 6 coming in the last 8 games, 10 RBIs, 9 of them coming in the last 8 games. He has 2 doubles, 4 walks, a steal. And can we go back to the last 8 games? Like, he has done absolutely amazing this year. I'm sorry. He does not have 36 at-bats. He has 128 at-bats. I misread. My apologies. But in 128 at-bats, that is just super duper impressive. The 36 at-bats come within the last 8 games. Just wanted to clarify that. But holy shit. That is fucking crazy. Excuse my French. Not a kid's show. This guy is playing like your mean Mercedes, but he is on the north side. Yermin's been playing a lot longer this season, has kept it consistent, is one of the best hitters in the MLB right now. So totally not in the same ballpark yet. But way he started, if he can keep it up like Yermin, I could see them being like the unsung heroes of Chicago baseball this year. So Tony, let's kind of hear it. Let's just where do you stand? Did you even know who this guy was before this season?
No, I did not. Honestly, I thought you guys were going to be kind of screwed with David Bodie being out. Obviously, you have Chris Bryant, who obviously then go back to his natural position of third base. But that was kind of a big piece to lose after he broke out a couple of years ago. And I definitely did not hear this guy. I heard, he had the 2 home runs, I think his first game or whatever that was, one of his first couple of games. I was like, that's really cool. Great story. That's why we love baseball. That's why it's for these stories. It's these guys that just battle, they work. We can respect that. We played sports our whole life. We understand that, and these guys are that much better, and it takes them 10 years to break through. You finally do, you get to live your dream. That is so cool. And that is definitely, like I said, that's not a guy I didn't I never heard of him. Have you actually heard of him before?
No, so I looked up like who we picked up and who, like when he got on the roster, I was like, okay, who's this guy? Because Wisdom's like a super cool last name. Like it's a PR guy's dream, like full of wisdom. I know I've written that twice unintentionally, like, your daily wisdom or like something like that. Like it just was like, boom, this is perfect. And this guy has had a really interesting story. I mean, a first round pick in the 2012 draft that didn't see action for 7 years. Like usually you get guys that wait like 3 or 4 years, but man, like I had no idea who he was. And for him to rip it up the way he has, so kind of to go back on your comment, the reason why he took over third base is, one, he is a third baseman, but two, Hayward was also hurt and Bryant can obviously play the outfield. The Cubs had the injury bug during their hot winning streak. So, they put Bryant in the outfield. They're like, okay, let's put Patrick Wisdom there. And he's been ripping it up. He's a good defensive third baseman too. So you can't complain when, you have that. And he's super cheap. Is he probably going to get the bag this summer? If he plays the way he does, goes through the season, 100% he'll get the bag. But no idea who he was before the season began.
I think what is, you mentioned it with Wisdom's name. I think that is kind of cool that both the two guys for the Cubs and the Sox that kind of just came out of nowhere. It's Mercedes and Wisdom, like just two really easy names to just, if they were both John Smith, it's like, all right, another guy named, the last name is Smith. So that I think that definitely adds to the story. That does just make it like cool and knows who you're talking about, even though they didn't know who he was a week ago. Wisdom, it's like the only time I've heard the word wisdom is talking about Patrick Wisdom in the past month. So, and it is cool. Another little stat there I found crazy is that he's already 4th on the team in home runs. Like you said, he's only played 13 games. Like that's insane. It's obviously Javi, KB, and Wilson, the guys you expect to be leading the team in home runs, but 4th already. See if he can do it the whole season. I think that'd be really cool. Like I said, I love that stuff. Your mean kind of fell off, so hopefully that doesn't happen to him. I mean, as a Sox fan, I hope it does, but for your sake, I hope it doesn't. Your mean actually, he just broke his 0 for 25 like drought he had, and now he's kind of back on track. Baseball's a long season, so we expect it. So when that does eventually happen, I imagine it will. It doesn't. It's an anomaly, but when he does go through a little slump, don't give up on him. Young, even though he's old, he's a young player in the sense of major league playing experience. So, ride the electricity while you can. But when he does kind of dip a little, there's a reason he's up there. He can replicate it. He can get back to his form.
So I just want to go back really fast because I know that the people that are watching this are definitely going to look up stats and be like, Nick, what were you talking about? So just to confirm, he has played in 14 games this year. He has had 36 at 14 games.
Yep.
He's had 36 at-bats. Making more sense with the average now. And he's only had a career 128 at-bats. So just to confirm, that is where my head was at. Apologies. I know I get ripped on a lot when I speak too fast because I'm reading too fast. It's okay. Just to make that clear. And also just another thing, good-looking dude. He is, the swagger. He's got swagger. He's out there. But he is married and has kids. So sorry, ladies, for the 14% of female viewers that we have, according to YouTube analytics.
It is funny, real quick. It is funny that he, because you got Chris Bryant, who I'll say, beautiful man, great eyes. Anthony Rizzo, just another good looking dude. You guys have these good looking guys. That's just kind of like the staple of the Cubs for some reason. And then, that adds to it too, where he's got the name, he's got the home runs, obviously the stats, and he's a hunk. And I think that's just so funny. It's a very classic like Cubs thing for just him to be just an absolute stone cold stunner.
Yeah, like well-rounded in every single aspect of life. Like, I will say though that there is one chunky monkey on the Cubs, and that's Jock Peterson, but that guy's also got some swag. So can't complain with that. And I think we just came up with the best new PR name for Chicago. You got to have wisdom to drive a Mercedes, and you're in first place in life when you're driving a Mercedes. So boom, PR right there. Sign me up. I'm waiting for the Cubs to come calling. Cubs do follow me, by the way. I still ride high on that. It's a conversation starter. But kind of moving into the rest of the Cubs really fast. The Cubs flipped thanks to the better play of their core 4. They are now half a game out of first place as of June 8th. They've been a little cold. They lost 4 out of their last 5, but they are playing 2 of the strongest teams out west in the Giants and the Padres. 3 of them have been close games. 2 of them have been blowouts. Last night was a blowout. Unfortunately, we had one of our youngest pitchers on the mound, was started off really rough early, only gave up 1 run when he had bases loaded against who's the guy on the Padres, their best player?
Fernando Tatis, Manny Machado.
Tatis.
Okay.
Wasn't Tatis on the Sox?
Yeah, we traded for James Shields, the whole thing. Yeah.
I remember because I remember like Sox fans were like, could you imagine if that never happened?
I have a hot take, but we'll save that for another show. That I'm happy he's gone because I think it would have hurt the rebuild. But that's
okay. So let's save that for White Sox coming up later this week.
Different pod.
But Javi Baez. Let's talk about the core 4 really fast and Wisdom. Obviously, Wisdom is doing super well. Strong bullpen play still. But let's just talk about Javi Baez and the rest of the guys really fast. Rizzo's been playing well. I know, Tony, you wrote a little note down there, so we'll get to Rizzo in a second. Javi Baez is looking like an MVP self, 14 home runs, 39 RBIs with 9 stolen bases. He only has a 240 average, but he was once like in the low hundreds. Like he was ice cold at the beginning of the season, so it's taken him a lot of battling to get back to even 240. And again, he's always swinging for the fences, and he's doing a pretty good job at it. So can't complain with that. Chris Bryant has stayed hot all season long. 308 average still. I mean, he has not gone below 300, I think, since the first week, and he has just stayed red hot. 13 homers, 38 RBIs. He has a 967 OPS. I mean, overall, this guy's just getting on base. He's looking like himself, and he wants the bag. And going into the Cubs bullpen super fast, according to EV Analytics, Cubs are ranked 3rd. Honorable mention, the White Sox are 1st. But, Craig Kimbrell is 66 Ks in 41 innings with 18 saves. Can't complain when you have that, especially this early in the season. I mean, we're not even halfway through, and if you were to double his saves count, that's 36 saves in a season. So that's pretty darn impressive. Andrew Chafman, my dude, mustache, flow, failed starter, drives an 88 Firebird to the stadium every day. Like, this guy is just straight swag. He is, again, another hunk on the Cubs. Good hunks. My personal life, when I call someone a hunk, usually you're kind of goofy, but these are good looking hunks. So they're good guys. But Tony, I think Rizzo's been playing okay, but you wrote Rizzo stinks. So kind of from a Sox fan, what is Rizzo doing wrong in your eyes?
Probably really nothing. It was more of just last night I was watching the game and they were down 6-4. They were kind of mounting a comeback a little bit, and it was just a weird situation where I think he just kind of lost track of the ball, hit him right in like the shoulder, foul territory. Would have had Manny Machado out, ended the at bat. Next pitch, home run, started that rally, or not a rally, just started the big inning for the Padres where I think they scored 4 more or something like that. So
yeah, it was 4 more.
It really wasn't a good note. I just wanted to, I got to get my jabs in when I can.
Well, you know what? I'll take it if that's it. I mean, yes, that was rough, but at the end of the day, like, he is the captain. And, I'm happy you hit on Rizzo last, because the last topic of the day that we're going to hit on with the Cubs is Anthony Rizzo came out to Brad Briggs of the Chicago Tribune and said, Brad Briggs asked, like, what is the deal with the core? Like, how are the Cubs going to bring them back and everything? And Rizzo said, quote, if they want to, they absolutely can re-sign 3 of us. And that was in regards to Chris Bryant, Javi Baez, and himself. Ironically, this was said after the Wilson Contreras, Anthony Rizzo, kind of jaw off in San Francisco. And I was like, was that a subtle jab at Contreras? So, Tony, so we don't know that officially, but he's saying, like, you could easily re-sign us 3. And they're obviously close friends, and, like, they've won a World Series together. I'm sure that there's been some, behind closed doors on one of their rooftops, drinking a beer, like, talking about it. Like, so Tony, what are your thoughts on keeping the core 3 from an outside perspective? I'm saying you absolutely should, but, like, and you're a baseball guy, so put away the Sox for a second. Like, let's talk about the importance of keeping all 3.
Yeah, I do think it is very important, because otherwise you go into full rebuild mode. That's the only other option. I mean, yes, they do have good players. They do have Ian Happ. They do have some. Hopefully, Patrick Wisdom can turn into a consistent long-term player. But it is, you got to commit one way or the other, because otherwise you end up just in this middle of the road. So if you want to still try to win another World Series, or at least another pennant in this window, you do have to keep at least 3 of these guys. they're superstars. Like, they still are. Obviously, Anthony Rizzo has dropped off a little bit just because he's getting older. But again, I know I joked about, hey, he's washed up, he stinks now, but he brings that leadership to the team that, there's no war to calculate that, but I'd say it's at least, 3.5, because it is just willing your team to just do better, to just bring it up to another level. Chris Bryant obviously is having a career year after multiple career years, in the past like 5 years, which is crazy to think about. It's all in or all out. You can't. That's kind of what the Sox did. They, when they traded James Shields for Fernando Tatis for James Shields, they were trying to keep Chris Sale. They were kind of trying to see what they could do there. And then they found out James Shields stinks. And then they were just like a bottom third team, but not completely the worst. So that's when they blew it up. And that's what will have to happen to the Cubs if they want to, compete within the next 8 years if they don't re-sign these guys.
Yeah. And just to confirm, do you think the Cubs can actually afford it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's baseball. There's no salary cap. It's not, and these aren't like these guys where, like, I'm sure you guys have talked about with the Bears, where it's the team is their money. These guys had money, bought the team. They have money. They try to run it like a business. I think we've talked about this as well, where they only use the business money, the Cubs money, to do Cubs stuff. They try not to dip into their own money, but they also used a lot of that money to buy all the real estate around Wrigley. And the only reason these people are going to these attractions around Wrigley Field are the attractions on the field, which are your core guys. So yeah, maybe it would put them in the red for, again, as a business, but the only way, as a business major, I'm sure, long-term profits, usually you're going for long-term profits. It's not short-term profits. It always kind of comes around with a bell curve and everything. So you have to keep, if you want to be successful. That's just the short and simple of it.
So you don't need to go to college anymore because Tony is a business professor and just explained business within, 35 seconds. But also, you got to spend money to make money. Let's just make that clear. You got to do that. And I think that I'm totally with you. The Cubs can find a way to pay these guys. Pay their houses, buy them a few houses, give them investment properties, give them part of the team. I don't care. But overall, yes, the Ricketts can definitely afford it. And Jed Hoyer definitely should be having that conversation with his bosses. Guys, we need to keep these guys in order to keep making millions of dollars a year.
Give them the Bobby Bonilla contracts where it's $1 million for like 50 years.
Well, that one ends, I think that ends in like 3 or 4 years finally?
It's soon, which is funny. Bobby Bonilla Day will finally be over. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that dude probably, if he was smart, what he would do is he would, like, every other year just put that money into like an index fund and just let it make more. And he'd be like, I could buy the Mets at this point. That'd be so funny if one day he was like, I own the Mets for them doing that, and I'm going to own them again.
Makes that day a national holiday for the team. And then Bobby Bonilla Day, the day that, he made all the money to buy the Mets. Yeah.
On like, what is it? 1.26 million a year. He's got to do it on like January 26th every single year.
He should restructure it so that he'll take half every year, but he extends the term just to keep that relevancy. That's what he should do.
That would be smart on his point, but I think he's like in his 60s now. No,
yeah, he doesn't care. His kids are taken care of. His kids are taken care of.
Every year a family member gets another 2022 is your year to get your money. So like, just wait it out.
that would be incredible.
Oh man. All right. Well, with that, thank you for joining this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rohde, joined alongside my co-host Tony Cepeda, and we will talk White Sox. I believe we're talking Thursday, Tony. No, Thursday or Friday? Friday.
I'm going Wednesday and Thursday, so that'll be perfect. We'll talk Wednesday.
All right. Well, then tomorrow, stay tuned for White Sox Insights. Tony's going to be taking over, so stay tuned for that. And Tony will have Tony's takes back starting tomorrow. So we will go from there. But thank you very much for joining, and we'll see you guys next time.